And it's gonna have number 3 here.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, awesome. Okay, Rebecca. And your child's name?
Milo.
Miley. I feel I'm all things, but I will, because that's not that problem. I'll give it to you in a minute, but it will make me, I have 72 little, and so I have, and the parents, so that's a lot of people for me. This used to be my very worst gift ever, is trying to remember people's names, but it's getting better with Let's Play Music because I'm forced to know everybody's name. So anyway, I'll get it. Okay, Matt. Okay, yeah, Kitty is his little girl. Okay, Lauren.
I'm Lauren, and then I'll have JoJo in this class.
Okay.
I have an older daughter that's in here too, and she loved it. And we love the Sherry and we're the Tulls.
Okay, good, love that.
I'm Allison, and I have my Thomas with you in class.
Okay, awesome. How do you say your last name? Fabiano or
Fabio.
Fabiano? I've been trying, I'm like, okay, gosh.
I'm Josh, and both my children, Leif and Freya, have been doing this, and Freya's in this class.
Yeah, she's gonna start the keyboard class now. It's super exciting. I also do a sound beginnings class for the babies 0 to 4. So if you have children that age, it's a to die for class, isn't it? Oh, I just love it. So anyway, we're moving the children up though. That's great.
Jesse, my
Jesse.
name's Jesse, and I had Brooklyn, and she'll be in the 11.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we just barely signed up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you and me. You don't have a name tag, but you will.
Okay.
I just have to get that done.
Thanks.
Okay. And
I'm Callie.
Alan. Okay. Nice. So Callie and Callie, just spelled with 2 L's. Back here and one here. Gonna remember that. Okay. So we'll start with our first thing. Okay, piano playing dilemma. This is really why most of you don't know me, and so maybe even Callie, I don't know how deeply you know my life, but I do a lot of I carry a lot of heavy things. I run the Draper Philharmonic and Choral Society and do concerts every year and stuff, tour, and I have a lot of stuff. So I didn't really need to do this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like in my life, this isn't what I didn't have to do this, but this thing right here, the music window, letter reading and finger strength. This is why Let's Play Music is so brilliant. The first year, they don't have to do that stuff. But if you stick your 4 or 5-year-old at the piano, it's going to become so difficult and so painful that you're going to end up quitting. And so LPM has figured out, and I call it that a lot, LPM has figured this out. And this is the most important part to me that we help. Well, probably not the most important, but it's a big deal. So the LPM curriculum, we have a time window when children will learn music. Music is a language, and so from 0 to 9 is the window. That's when it just will go in, and it's not going to be that much effort. I mean, you have to give effort. You have to speak the language, right? If you're going to teach them Spanish because you speak 2 languages, you have to speak it to them. It's not going to come through your brain into theirs. You have to do something. But this is the time when they absorb everything. And you know that by when they watch a movie. You can watch the movie how many times? Maybe 2 if they force you. How many times does your child watch the movie? 100? Until they can recite every word and sing every song. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's because they're sponge right now. It doesn't bug them to have repetition. They have to have repetition. That's how they're learning. So if you play with them every day, it's just going to happen. It's going to go in and they're going to love it. We don't require reading or really playing the piano in the first year. And that should be, because they can start to love music and get a whole bunch of information without undue pain to them, because all they want to do is play. They don't want to work, right? We all know this about children. Okay. Trying to see. Piano playing is the best introductory musical skill because the piano key layout relates easily to the staff and because it can produce melody and harmony simultaneously. So these are kind of big words and kind of big things, big concepts, but the more that they hear the music and the more that they work on listening, they're going, when you listen to your CDs, they're going to get more that way in the first year. For trying to play the piano at this age, their fingers are not ready for this. And that's why I think this is so amazing what they've done. Their ability to absorb the second language or third or however many they're introduced to starts to decrease greatly around age 8 and 9. And so that's why we start so early. That's why Sound Beginnings is so amazing, because when they come out of there, like, Avery's not going to be, what are we doing? She already loves it. She's already singing it. She's already dancing to the beat, and that's what we do as soon as we can get them in music. Okay, the complete musician. This program will create a very tight and very good package of musicianship within a young child, and they can just take off. My students that come to me after Let's Play Music just take off because they're really ready. They have the finger strength by then. They have the capacity to concentrate and follow a little bit harder things. And they've also learned basic skills. And so the piano isn't foreign to them. And it just works so much better to go into private lessons after Let's Play Music. We develop talent. Complex musical skills become second nature. We develop a complete musician that can do much more than just play the piano. I'm going to show you that later. Students understand the language of music and can apply their knowledge to their other instruments. So it doesn't mean that they will only play piano, but piano is the king of, you have all of the notes. The geography that they're going to learn at the keyboard is absolutely necessary in order to really understand anything that they're going to do in music later. Okay, part of our curriculum. We're on page 4. So the music masters that we have copied, have utilized their teachings are Sultan Kodai. I'm saying that for you so that you can see. Carl Orff and Emily Jacques Dalcroix. And these men really had some inspiration about how to work with children. Well, let me go back. Okay. Kodai, he emphasized the folk song as the mother tongue in teaching music. And we use a lot of folk songs, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, all those sorts of things. He used melodic patterning, repeating several notes in a row for the ear training. And he developed solfege to teach inner hearing and sight singing. And we do solfege constantly because it gives them another avenue to take it all in. And you'll learn that too. So Carl Orff, his musical education was experiential and physical. He taught using improvisation and composition and stressed the importance of percussion instruments for early learning. He also utilized body percussion, chanting, dance, and drama. This is one of the key factors why it works for us, because we don't have them sit the first year in a situation for 40 minutes straight where they can't stand it and they're dying to get up and move around. We're moving all the time. We're dancing, we're beating out, we're singing, we're playing the bells, and then we get up and move from side to side in the room so that they're constantly having a reset in their brain. It's just amazing. Dalcroix developed Eurythmics, a method of teaching music through movement, and he taught listening, and so that they could learn to be expressive and musical in what they do. So we incorporate all of these things in the curriculum. Okay, we're not the traditional approach. And I had a little thing against that for a while because I'm a very, I've created my own college level curriculum for teaching piano. So I didn't really understand this until I got my own 8 children. So I need you to know that I have helped, I've trained my 8 children. I have a world-class viola player. She plays for the
Paris Chamber Orchestra.
Thank you, Paris Chamber Orchestra. She lives there. That's her full-time job. She's a full-time musician. I have all of my children play. I've spent a lot of years at this, and that when I started getting to understand children, babies, going into toddlers, going into first grade, I started realizing, wow, they don't all learn the same and they don't all take it in the same. And so, all these things that I found out. And so that's why Let's Play Music to me, I thought, wow, this is such a skip ahead, such a jump. I mean, I was teaching strings to my children at 2 and 3 years old. So I know exactly what I'm talking about, that we can do it traditionally, or we can do it this easier way. And so this is different. We retrain the mind to see new way of educating your young child. So we hope to do that. Okay, also we teach ear training. This is huge. If you will listen to that CD, they will beg for it, and you'll be like this, oh no, but you're gonna put that aside and you're gonna play it every time you get in the car, because as they hear this, everything we do in class makes sense. Until they understand their music, they kind of look at me and I can tell. This is between us, okay? I can tell, and I'm not trying to be mean or scary, but I can tell what's going on at home by how they look at me. Like if they're just kind of staring at me like lights in the deer's eyes, you know what I'm talking about? Or they can't really answer, or they don't really know how, or they're struggling. That's because they're not getting this stuff. They're not listening, and they're not doing their little bell practice every day. So, sorry, their bell playing every day. So this is super important, the ear training. We teach staff reading. This starts to happen in the last half of first year. We use this big, huge mat. We teach all sorts of things on this so that they can really learn what's going on. And then we move it to the keyboard. Chord progressions, classical studies, voice lessons, instrument playing, and rhythm. I want to talk a little bit about this. Every person that can hear can sing in tune. So I hear all the time, oh no, I'm tone deaf. And that's just not true. What's the problem is that until we grow, and that means we have to work hard, a neural pathway from our ear to our vocal box. And this is a brain, this is a neural pathway. It's like doing math, or it's like learning to tie your shoe, or whatever you do to make your brain strong in a function. That has to happen from here to here before you can sing in tune. If you do not have that, you cannot hear at all what's going on. That is not a problem, really. We just have to work at it. So I will get several children each year who can't go past their chest voice. And I teach them ghost singing. Ooh. Now they'll do ghost singing all day long. And as long as I can get a person to do that, ooh, their voice goes up and down, right? So if they're singing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, la, and they're not going up past their chest voice, then they get stuck on that note, and they have about 3 notes that they like, and that's where they sing. So what we have to do is we have to listen, and it's really important. I hope that you'll let me teach you, because if you're not singing in tune, I need to teach you to sing in tune too. And I have no clue who does, who doesn't. So, but whatever your child hears, and I have proven this out, I'm going to do a doctorate study one day, but whatever you do with your child is what your child is going to do with me, because that is the model. So if I hear that, you're not singing in tune, I'll say, Mom, let's do some ghost singing. And I don't want you to be embarrassed. I just want you to say, okay, I'm going to learn to go over that break. I'm going to learn to get out. You know what I mean? I want to help. That's all I want to do. And I want your children to be able to learn to sing in tune. So that's about voice lessons. Okay, instrument playing, of course, we're learning, and rhythm, big time. We're going to learn rhythm a lot. When you get to, at Christmas, I'll give a package to your children, and you'll get the bug cards, which is how we start to learn rhythm. On the back are the real notes. But this just falls right into their brain. They have no trouble learning the bugs. And that will also come with your second semester book. I have all of your things because I had to do a bunch of things to them. So you'll get all of that second semester just at Christmas time when we quit. Okay. Okay. How are these skills taught? Let's discuss the approach. Children learn through play. They learn through full body movement. Experience precedes the learning. And we do research-based teaching. So the experience precedes the learning is super important. It's, you know, you don't hand your 1-year-old a red ball and say, okay, this is a round red ball and it bounces. Now you can touch it. You know, that's not, you just throw the toys down there and they go and they figure it all out for themselves, right? So we're not saying this is a quarter note and this is how fast it goes and you need to count it with a metronome, right? You know, that's not our first year process because they can't comprehend any of that. So we teach them, it sounds like this, a bug. That's it. And we show them the picture. And so we're teaching them through learning. And then in second, especially third year, we're going to all the terms. It's like a Velcro wall. We've got all the stuff up there and we say, oh, that is called, and they just take it in with us. It's amazing. So you'll hear different language at first, like red chords. That's a tonic chord if you're a musician. The blue chord is a subdominant and a yellow chord is a dominant chord. So we teach them all of those things last year, but we teach them colors and pictures right now because that's where they're at. The function of beauty in the education of children is to lead them acceptably to love and sensory experience. So all of their experiences, what they will learn to know in its own form as an intelligible principle. Okay, so we have a curious child, the skilled teacher, and the supportive parent. I just want to put a big heart right there. I'm not kidding. It doesn't matter that I've taught music for 45 years. It doesn't matter. Unless I have you. And that's, you know, I take this very seriously because I hope to give your children the most amazing gift ever. And so I just love you and I look to you and I hope and I pray and I just want everything to go good at home. This is automatic if we don't shut this off. Okay. What's your role in class? We're going to skip a little bit. Okay, turn to page 9. Let's Play Music Learning Circle involves the 3 most important people. And I've gone through that. The teacher's responsibility: present information in a fun, efficient manner, maintain control of the class, help each child feel capable and important. And I take that so seriously. Child's responsibility: attend class every week, listen to the soundtrack outside of class, and complete the theory assignments with help. And we're going to go through this little book a little bit. These are your theory assignments in here. And I'm telling you, they're perfect. Absolutely perfect. The parent's responsibility: attend class every other week. Just going to say something. If you can't because something has come up, it would be better to send a grandparent or a neighbor. It would be better to do something than not come because you can't come, right? So never miss for that. Listen to the soundtrack often and relive the fun of class. Once a week, do the bell activities and assist in the theory assignment. Initial the appropriate homework boxes once complete. That's super big to me. All of this that you're supposed to do is super important. So I have things set in place so that we can all support each other in making sure it all gets done. Okay, so we're going to elaborate on the children or the parents' responsibility. Okay. Let me show you this video. Well, okay, so you're going to learn how to practice with your child. You're going to be an example of musical enjoyment, so you're going to have fun. You're going to sit behind your child on the floor. So we all sit on the floor, and I have little spots for them, and you sit right behind them. Don't force participation. I've rarely seen a problem. My parents are so amazing. Amazing. You just work with your child and help them and show them. And if they don't want to do it, honestly, there'll be a day when a child will come in just cranky and they don't want to be here. And if that's okay, they can just kind of curl up and be a mess on the floor and I'll try to do the mouth or whatever it is. And you play with me. And I'm not kidding. It doesn't take long before it's like, you're not going to do my job. And they, take it away and they start to play again. So we don't have to, I mean, if they have an outburst and they really can't quit, and every once in a while that will happen, you can take them back here or outside if it's nice weather. I mean, that's responsible, you just take care of it. But hopefully we can make it fun enough that they don't really struggle too much to give outbursts. I don't have that happen very much. Don't repeat the teacher's instructions. You know what? I'll be. Everybody who started repeated that did it so perfectly that I was so grateful. I was so grateful. The mom was like, hey, you know, if the child doesn't get it or the child just, but what they're working on here is that when you come to class, I become the authority so that you have someone. Well, Miss Sherry said that you're supposed to play it this way, and that is so helpful if they see me as that person, so that you can have somebody to kind of offload on to, you know, the bad day, right? So just the reason this is here that you don't take the lead role, but I honestly haven't ever had that happen. So let me see if I have. Okay, now let's go watch this video. This is really about the amazing opportunity you have to bond with your child for 45 minutes every week, just you and her or him. And this is so important today. Like, it wasn't that important in my day. We had no cell phones. If you wanted to do anything, you had to go to the library. There was nothing, right? We didn't even have VCRs. And you're not probably not, I don't know if any of you don't know these days. Anyway, it's crazy how things have changed. But that phone is destroying our kids. Okay. I'm just going to be honest. That is how I see it. That's how I feel. That's what I've seen over and over and over with hundreds of children. It's just the wrong thing. They need to play. They need balls. They need blocks. They need Play-Doh. They need fun. They need activity. They need parents. They need children. They need people. They need interaction. And so when you get here, cell phones are absolutely off limits. Just stick them in your purse, in your pocket, whatever. But this is no place for them. And this is why. I'm going to show you this little video.
Babies this young are extremely responsive to the emotions and the reactivity and the social interaction that they get from the world around them. This is something that we started studying 34 years ago when people didn't think that it could age in social interaction. And it still takes experiment, but mother did. She sits down and she's playing with her baby who's about a year of age.
And like a girl. Oh.
And she gives a greeting to the baby gives a greeting back to her. This baby starts pointing at different places in the world, and the mother's trying to engage her and play with her. They're working to coordinate their emotions and their intentions, what they want to do in the world. And that's really what the baby is used to. And then we ask the mother to not respond to the baby. The baby very quickly picks up on this. And then she uses all of her abilities to try and get the mother back. She smiles at the mother. She points because she's used to the mother looking where she points. The baby puts both hands up in front of her and says, "What's happening here?" She makes that screechy sound at the mother, like, "Come on, why are we doing this?" Even in this 2 minutes, when they don't get the normal reaction, they react with negative emotions. They turn away. They feel the stress of it. They lose control of their posture because of the stress that they're experiencing.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
It's a little like the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is the normal stuff that goes on that we all do with our kids. The bad is when something bad happens, but the infant can overcome it. After all, when you stop the still face, the mother and the baby start to play again. The ugly is when you don't give the child any chance to get back to the good. In a recent study that we're proposing, we're going to be looking, in fact, at epigenetic effects on development. Those effects really direct interaction of the environment with genetic mechanisms. And in this study, we're going to look at infants who experience intrauterine growth retardation or stress during the gestation period, and how.
Okay, that was the section that I wanted to see. So this is why I feel so strongly about you coming and just being with your child and building this bonding relationship every week. And if you take the opportunity at home to do this, then your relationship is going to be amazing. I mean, just sometime like, oh, it's time for music practice. You put the cell phone away for the 5 minutes. That's all it takes first year, 5 to 10 minutes. And you just spend time with that child, right? And if you have more than one, I mean, I had 8, so I know what that's like, but it's important. And I didn't have to fight the cell phone because we didn't have any until, well, I guess when I got number 5 is when cell phone came into use. But okay, parents have said all odd. So 1 3 5 7, and it's all marked. Let me just show you quickly. And I don't have it, but if you look in the very front of your book, you're going to see the calendar, and yours are all in red. So you're going to come anytime that there's a red lesson. So that'll help you to be able to do it. No siblings in class for the same reason that, if everybody brought 3 children, we would have 21 children, and there's just no way to bond with our child, right? Yes.
Sorry, a dumb question, but can we come every time if we want to?
Yeah, you'll find that I love it. And especially in second year, can you not forget that you asked that? Because putting it at the keyboards, I'm just like, come every week. I love it. But you'll find that it helps them to have a little independent time with me. So, I mean, there might be a day. I think children need to kind of start to get that, like, I'm going to class with Cherry, but this time I'm going with mommy, and like this sort of back and forth, because it gives me a chance to bond with them and play with them. But I don't mind if you want to come and sit on the piano bench, but you'll notice how it is when all the parents are here, we're all here playing. And when they're not here, we're not, so it's that, like I said, I never mind a parent coming. So practice session once a week, show homework. So I'm just going to say, if your child says, mommy, we need to do the bells, or daddy, we need to do the bells, you need to say, you bet. Love it. Let's go. Because if you turn that off, they will start turning you off. It's that picture of the mom and the child. Which is exactly, you're going to get what response you give them is the response they're going to start to give you. So I don't like to say bells once a week, because if your child really starts to love this class, he'll want to play the bells every day. And that's really where it's at, right? Because in second year, things have to change. You have to get to the keyboard every day for at least 5 days a week. And third year for sure. I mean, it really grows. Okay. This is easy this year. And it's easy because they're 4, right? But as they grow, they're ready for more, and they're going to bigger school, and they're going to read, and they're going to learn to read music. And you know what I'm saying? So I think if they ask you, let's play music, you need to say, you bet. And okay, so maybe you're nursing a child, or you have to make dinner. Could you give me 10 minutes? I really want to play music with you. And let me just finish the spaghetti. Just be thoughtful about when they ask and what you say. Okay, 3-year overview. I absolutely love this part. So you will, let me see what they're going to tell me to say. Okay, first year focus, internal musical skills. We keep a steady beat. And by the end of the year, they'll be doing that. It's absolutely amazing. And I'll tell you, for their schoolwork later, their rhythmic capacity is number 1. I had a little boy come to my private studio, and the mom was saying, well, it takes us 3 hours a night to read his books. He was 3rd grade. And I was like, that's not quite right. And I said, well, let me see if I can help him. And so we started doing a rhythm, little 10-minute rhythm lesson before we started piano every week. And we only had to do that 2 to 3 months. I can't remember. It wasn't too long. And then she said, wow, he's just reading so great. Now she just happened to mention it. I said, that's because we were doing rhythm. Rhythm sinks in their reading and their math skills like crazy. So when we're learning how to beat to the beat, don't think that's not very useful and you're not going to do that exercise today, because it's super, super important for them to learn to keep steady beat. They're gonna recognize the sounds of patterns and chords. So if they're gonna learn by the end of their year to tell me which chord I'm playing. Okay, if that's something you can do because you're musical, but if it's not something you can do and you can't tell the difference between these, think about the difference that's gonna make in their life when I can say, what is this? That's a red chord. Oh, that's a blue chord, you know, because that's a major skill to be able to hear that. Sight read through note relationships. So we're going to teach them by the end how to skip. We skip this line. We're going to teach them that this is a baby step. We went from the line to the space. It's brilliant, like so brilliant. You can't believe it. Painless. Okay. So relationships between the notes. Not going to call them notes. We're going to call them balloons, and then we're going to call them baby feet, and then we're going to call them frogs, and we're going to all sorts of things are going to come up on the board. This little one over here, and that's how they'll learn. Okay. Oh, and second year, I turned it off. Oh no. What if the battery's dead, honey? He's here to save me tonight in case my tech goes bad, and it is.
Was the green showing on the side, the other side?
Yes. I think.
Yeah.
It's dead. There are batteries in the desk, but you can't. Maybe you can set it on the board. Okay. Second year. So, I told you that you'll get this second part, and this is when they really start to do rhythm and get their bud cards, and they start to draw notes in their workbook. And let me just show you I'm going to do that after this. Okay, so second year is green turtles and yellow arrows. And then this curriculum is where they get on the keyboard, they learn the keyboard geography, they start to learn right-hand chords and then left-hand chords. Actually, we spend almost the whole semester on right-hand chords, then we pop it in left-hand pretty quickly in yellow semester. We start teaching them the names of the notes on the keyboard. They get music. So let me just show you some of that. So they're learning, they can read these chords, and I'll teach you in that year what to do to make sure that they're actually reading, because children are absolutely professional at making you think they're doing something when they're not really. But I know every trick in the book, even looking at the mirror of the grand piano and cheating that way with all sorts of things. Like I have found it all out. And so we will make sure that they're actually reading, and we'll make it fun, and you'll do it, and you'll have me to support you, and it'll just be really amazing. So you can see, and they get Christmas songs that semester, and of course they love that. And then they get into yellow arrows, where they learn dotted quarter note and eighth note rhythm, which is a killer. They start playing their little scales. They learn how to play a scale. It's just incredible. But the thing that you will find that is very different about me than most teachers is that I refuse to graduate children who can't read. And I'm looking at every one of you because it's going to take a serious effort between us, but I have it all figured out. If you will just follow what I give you, it will work like a dream. But if you don't, it will not. It's just like them reading a book, teaching their A's, right? He says, I says, and now we sit down to decode, and it's so hard. And they have to work it every day. And you know they have to work it every day. And if you do it every day, pretty soon they're reading along in their first grade book. And then they get second grade, and now they're fifth grade, and they can read, stories and novels. But that didn't come because you just said, hey, go read your book. No, you had to sit with them. You had to prepare them, and you had to practice every single day. This is a language. and to learn to read it is exactly the same process. But I have it down to a science. So we can do it. We just have to stay together and do the process. Okay, third year, I'm hoping. What time did I tell her? I have third year is absolutely unbelievable. It about kills me to get all the lesson stuff in, but they learn to identify all the note names. And in my studio, they finish the one note. That's our goal. Okay, by end of third year, they are reading every note on the staff. And once they can do that, they don't hate it. But if what's in here starts to get too hard, let me find something. Okay, if something in here is too hard to read, they will start to tell you, I don't want to go anymore. I don't want to. Why do you make me go? Well, you love me, sure. Yeah, but I don't want to play the piano anymore. Right? Because it's too hard. And so we have to keep up with we have to get their skill set to grow so that when they get to this, they don't feel turned off. They feel like, okay, now that's a C. I can play all those C's, and they can think. They feel like they can, so they try. That's the key. The second part of third year, by the way, every year they graduate, and we have a recital at the end of the year, and we have a really, I make it as fun as I possibly can, and I graduate them and I give them a certificate, and it's just super important. Third year they graduate, they get a trophy, and we have what is called a composition. Well, they learn to create their own composition. Sorry, can you give me 1 second? I'm going to get something really quick. You guys can come sit on this piano bench. This is my third year. She just graduated, and I can't wait to tell you about that. So this is my composition notebook for the years that I have taught. Okay. All of these compositions that you see, the children wrote. They sit with me in 2 private lessons in the last half of that class, and they play things for me. And I put them into the computer, and when we get all finished, I print it out. This is their stuff. Sometimes they make it too hard, and because they can hear and think, but to play it, that's a different story, right? So we try to guide them. Maybe we want to just stay, in these 2 octaves, and maybe not go all the way up the piano with that, because we know that it's going to be rough for them. Because what happens at the end of the third year in their recital is they play this piece memorized. The one they wrote. They also play another piece that they get to choose. So we hold a composition contest. I'm not super big into having, what's the word?
Evaluation
No.
or competition?
Yeah,
or-
competition.
Okay.
I don't like it so much, but every once in a while, I think it's good. So what happens is LPM headquarters, they hold for all of us studios, there's 300 of us in America. We can send our top composition to their competition. And I hire real composers who take all the music that the children write, and I play it for them, and I send the little program notes that the children make, and they compete against each other, and they pick the best 3, first, second, and third prize. And then my first place can be entered into LPM headquarters competition. And so I do that. And every child has 2 private lessons with me in the semester, which you'll sign up for at that time. And then they have their own composition and they leave with it. Sophia, come here. This is my little third year. She just graduated. This is Sophia. And this is her piece. I print these for them so that they have them for real. And hers is Jump Little Dolphins Jump. And she actually took first place in my studio And she took honorable mention out of 300 studios in America. And that's really big. Yeah, give her a round of applause. It's so pleasant. So she's going to play for you. So she started when she knew nothing, right?
Yep.
Justin? Okay, so come over here. You guys can all turn around if you want, or you can just listen. You want to tell them about your piece? Let's tell them the name of it and what it means, what's going on in your piece.
So my name is Sophia Butlis, and you're gonna hear dolphins jumping out of the water and playing with the puffer fish.
Dolphins have a puffer fish. Okay, you can just go right ahead. Yeah. Okay. You are free. You can have a cookie if you want. And then you can go. So that's what's coming. So if you'll just let me help you and we can work together, and when it gets a little, dicey when we start doing note cards, you're just like, nope, we're gonna do it because I know what's gonna come at the end. It's gonna be better than nothing, right? It's better than not doing it. So, and she read all of that. She's reading, and she is going to love piano for the rest of her life. And she's going to have a talent that she can showcase and that she feels good about. And she feels good about herself. Do you feel that? She went from a 4-year-old that was shy and just 4, right? To somebody who feels accomplished about herself. And that's what we want. We want them to feel like, I can do something and I have worth and I am, and we can't place everything on something that we do and what we are. We know that deeply. But when you're going through this kind of a world, you've got to have something that is good about you. And this is what I want to give the children that are under my tutelage. So let's see what else I have to say to you. Okay. I'll be honest, I didn't do very well on emails last year. I text so much and I give videos and things like that. And so but I'm going to try to do really well and send you videos. Let me just look at that one more time. So if you get them, the teacher tidbits are studio news, things that are happening or things that are coming up that we need to do. Purpose in the play is why we do that activity, and making musicians. These are articles and what things that you can, it just seems to me like most of the parents weren't doing that. It takes me a lot of effort. And so I was like, maybe you were all too busy to handle just yet another email, but okay. Additional first year, I'm going to start passing this around right now. Did you get all your paperwork? You have to sign all that paperwork before you leave. So if you'll just mark that you were here, and then especially your child's t-shirt size, please. Just put it there. And what else do I have there, Kelly? What else am I saying up here?
Attended, t-shirt size, and worksheet turned in.
Okay, so I'll do the worksheet turned in when you hand it to me. The t-shirt size, and you can mark that you were here. What does this one say?
Paperwork signed.
Okay, yeah, and I'll do that. Okay, so use the tote bag every week. You're going to find that it's just one of the most important parts. Keep all your stuff together. Bells only come on parent day. So on non-parent day, I have my own bells and we take turns and we do it a little differently than when you're here, because I actually can handle a lot of kids with bells, but it's a little harder when parents aren't around when you have a lot of kids, but thankfully we have 3 classes, so it's going to be a lot better. Okay, I want to show you this really quick on your bells. The solfege is written on the bells themselves. Okay, so this one says do and so. by the way, SOL is so, no L. So if you're playing in C, and I don't know how much you know, so I'm just gonna kind of talk, but do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? That is the big uppercase letters. The lowercase is in the key of F. And so you're gonna see 2 on some of them, and those are for when we do songs in F major. So I will instruct you in class about that, so you don't have to really worry about it. But when you look at your bills, you'll be like, what are these? What, you know, why do I have these and they're not matching? So I just want you to know that there's a reason. Okay, so class calendar is super important. There are very few days in first semester that we don't have class, but I will always put up a red sign next to your sign that says no class next week. So just kind of take those in and look at your calendar so you don't show up when we're not holding class. Okay, so new guidelines. Attendance is vital for your child. Parent days are odd numbers, we learned that. And class calendar, that's super. We've got that down. Class times. First year classes are 45 minutes. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily arrive too early, but you know, just be here on time. Student policies, I have to have these things in order to start your child in class. So that's what you're filling out. This is the payment stuff. And I forgot to tell you that you need to get Zelle. That's the only way I take payment because of the accounting procedure that I have to go through. And I'm really not into paying a lot of fees to somebody. So we use Zelle. I mean, to process, because as a business, I can't really use anyone, which was wonderful, but you know, I have all these things hoops I have to jump through. If you pay by the first day of class, it'll be cheaper and a lot easier for us. If you decide to do it on a monthly thing, I ask you to just put it on auto pay, and you'll have 8 of those payments. So you can just start it in September all the way through April, and then you won't get charged the late fee, but my accountant will charge you the late fee. So I'm just here to tell you, if you're gonna do monthly, just make sure you're on time. Okay, siblings, they're not allowed, and cell phones, not really helpful. Okay, did you all get your app? Do you have your app on the phone? Did you get your music? Some of you are saying yes, but some are not saying anything, so I don't know what that means. If you need help, it looks like this. It's the little Let's Play Music guy. And you go into this. It's getting so much better. In the early years, the app was terrible, but I love it now. It's working really well. And they have different things like you can, like the bells, this is so cool. The child can practice in the car even, like that's just super cool. And they have some games. And I lost that. So the little note in the middle is what you push to get all of your albums, and your albums will be downloaded every year. So they'll always stay there for you. So you just say go to album. And if I have to turn this on, you'll be able to hear it. But anyway, it's just, you have to have this. The other thing is sometimes I will make CDs. If you're really big on CDs in your car, I still.
I mean, the app doesn't really just play. It doesn't do a good job.
Really? I've been using it, but
You could be good when you run it.
Oh, it doesn't play continuously or?
It's not every song.
Okay, say what? Say it
It
again.
downloads the song every time and it does not continue.
Yeah, like if you hook your phone up to Bluetooth in your car, one song finishes and then the next one doesn't start, you have to push play again. And even if you put it on repeat, it doesn't repeat. You still have to push it.
Okay,
But I bought the CDs from you and I was glad you did that because I use my CDs.
okay, so if everybody who hates that would call Let's Play Music, I am telling you, it would get fixed right now.
So
They-
are there icons?
They're working, what do you mean?
Like the continuous play?
Yeah,
Well, it's a re-download each time. So if you're not-
but he's saying in the car, it doesn't,
So,
yeah.
so the shuffle doesn't work and the,
So if there are troubles, I really want you to call and tell them. It is gonna, but, okay, so it's going to replay that one, but you're right, I have to push play. Right. Okay, well, we need to tell them that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, there's,
Continuous.
let me see, the siblings, someone's care. I need to, okay, so you're gonna do Zell, you need Marco Polo. If there's ever something that's kind of odd, and I can tell that the children aren't really getting it as a whole, like if there's more that aren't getting it than are, it probably means that you don't understand. And so I will do a Marco and say, this is how we do this. And if you have Marco Polo, I'm going to make groups before class starts, but you have to have it downloaded for me to add you to the group. So I'd like you to spend the last few minutes just making sure your paperwork's filled out and that you've downloaded these things. Just a note on Zell, who has them? Raise your hand. Okay, if you don't have, I think she does, because I think she started paying me. So 3 of you that may have to check it out. Zell is kind of, I'll just be honest, painful at the start, but as soon your bank is going to protect you so much that you're gonna like go in and say, I need it, I need Zell, but it's for your protection. It isn't really anything else. Sometimes, I mean, I had to go to the bank and I had to work quite a bit to get all of my students on it. But once they started figuring out that the parents really were trying to connect to me, it started to get easier. And then I had all of my parents on Zell last year. So we just you have to do it now because you need a few days. It isn't going to just happen like that if they are checking out if you really are the person doing it. They're trying to protect you. So you download it and you connect it to your bank account, and you can try me for $5. Look at my phone number, which is 801. I don't know, you probably have it in your phone because I've texted everybody, but use my phone number to find me and then just send me $5. And if it works, I will text you and say, oh, I got your $5. And then you can do more. And if there's trouble, you may have to go to your bank and say, I need you to fix this. I'm using Zell. I had to go and do quite a bit of work, but now I'm very established because I wasn't then. So I think it should be a lot easier. I haven't had a lot of trouble since I spent 8 hours at the bank last summer, like 2 hours every day. It was so bad, but things are a lot better now. So let me make sure okay, so the sign will go up. The little cute coat hangers, they'll just put their shoes under the coat hangers and their coats on the hangers if it's a day that we need those shoes. And I'll make that clear. I'll be like, take your shoes off today, and they'll go and do that. I don't like any child running out the door to the car. I really, at this age, I really insist that you come. You probably would anyway, because they're so little. Let's come in and get them so that we're safe. Okay, let me know if you can't make it. Find a replacement because it's better that your child comes than not. Don't lose your tote. Yeah, I will get on GroupMe. So look at that sometimes and make sure you're up to date. Yeah, also I didn't have to recruit at all this year, which was awesome. But what that means is that if you find that like you have a sibling you want to get in next year, or you have friends you want to tell about it, the sooner they're on the waiting list, the better. Hello. So let me just get. Okay, as soon as you got your paperwork. Okay, so the last thing I want to tell you, in January, I'm going to prepare to sign you up for second year. So I'll send out a text and I'll say, okay, it's time to get registered for second year. Here's your registration fee. Now go on and get your class, and I'll open up the class times. And I just really need you to be on top of that thing, because it's, I have a lot of students and I just need to have that all handled before I open everything up to the public. And so I give you several weeks, like 3 weeks, to get all signed up. So just when I do that, I'm actually preparing you so that you have very little stress. It's just all going to happen and you won't even know that it really happened if you'll just go through the things that I text you right when I text you. Okay, does anybody have questions? Now I can answer. Yes. Kelly.
Sorry, this is for-
That's okay. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, yes. I thought that as I was putting everything else, I'm like, oh, I should have stapled it all together for families, but I'll get better at that.
So the app just has, that's it, there's nothing else that we need, like
Here-
the music app.
There's. They want to go back out here. They're
Okay, oh, and the
working
bells.
on creating more and more things. So there's nothing under notifications that I have. You can go to shop on here and you can, I think that's the main thing that you can do on that one. And activities, but I don't know what's there for you. Mine doesn't show up for red balloons. But then there's the tone bills that they can play. So yeah, it's, yes, that's what it's mainly about. Oh, I wanted to teach you this. Oh, I almost forgot I would have died. Okay, so you know how I said that I'm here to support you? Things get busy sometimes. So what I've done is I've created every child has their own cup and every child has their own stick. And I put the stick in my pocket and I pick the child. I give every single child a turn at everything. That's why I like small classes. So everybody gets to try and they go in random order. So they're always sure I am going to get picked. It's for sure. Right. So that's for their safety and security kind of feeling. This is their cup. These are called Bintiums. Marbles. At the end of class, and I'll show them this in class. They get paid according to these 8 rules. Okay. Did you do your homework? And I'm going to look at the book. And where did I put it? If you have not signed, this is so important, and I didn't even say anything. So here on the first page, this is where your signature goes. This means that you guys did this. This means that you did this. And this has to be done. Now, some kids will go, they love this side. They'll go try to figure it out and do it all in one day. So you need to kind of watch and say, you know what, she hasn't taught us about that yet. I think we might learn more if we wait until she gives us the lesson on that, because they're going to do whatever their mind comes up with. They don't know what's going on, right? So you kind of have to be in charge about that a little bit because they love it. They're like, oh, there's no laptops, I'll put them everywhere, right? So, but as long as you've signed this, I will pay them. If you have not signed this, they'll say, oh, but I did it. And I'll say, oh, I bet you did, but your mom has to sign it. Let's wait for her to come. And so this is how I will always talk to them. So if you don't sign it, they will not get paid. And I'm just adult to adult, that's how it's going to be. The next thing they have to do is come find their name. So Claire, her mom is Jessica. So she is going to move, and I train them to do it this way so that we get a nice organized list looking at it. And these are all little tiny skills of being, you know, growing up. So, and finding their name and knowing your name, knowing how it's spelled. This is why I do this. Plus, this helps me find out who everybody belongs to until I can get it down. Okay, I tell them no gymnastics in class. Good job, you didn't do gymnastics, so I pay them. Don't run around the studio. You have to be respectful, so I pay them if they do that. Do your solfege hand signs during class. So some kids will just sit there. I'm like, come on, remember, we're gonna get Bintiums. You need, and I do this with them, and it works like a charm. Because some kids will just kind of sit. They won't sing, they won't put their hands. And this has saved me. If they don't do it, when I get out there, I am super nice. Okay. But I'm like, dang, I wasn't really seeing you do your hand signs too much. And they're like, I said, do you think we can do that better next week? You know, and I just start to work with them. And I had a class last year. I've never had one like this. Nobody could sing. Nobody. And I would try. And then I remembered, oh yeah, it's one of the rules. And so I went and I said, you know what, you guys, we're going to have a little bit of a problem in this class if we don't start to sing. And I went and got my rule sheet and I said, remember when I told you the first day that sing the songs with your best voice? Right now, I can't pay anybody $8 today because nobody's singing. And then they're just, wow, now they realize, oh, I have to try. Don't touch Echo Ed and you'll meet him. He's amazing. Or hurt the puppets. So when you're with your children, some children will take these, they're just laminated puppets on a stick and just bend them right down. Well, they're done for then. There's no way I have to reprint, recut, relaminate, and glue, right? So I just watch your children and notice what they're doing. If they're fighting on some of the puppet things, they leave teeth marks. So just kind of watch that. And stay on your carpet. And this is our savior. When your child is just cannot get out of your arms and they're fussy and they just, I'm like, are you gonna stay on your carpets? You get paid. Oh, yeah. And then they sit back down, right? So we're trying to train them. And what do they get if they get 8 Pentiums? They get to choose a piece of candy. If they don't, say you didn't get the homework done. They keep their 7 Pentiums in their cup. And next week when they come back, if they've got all the homeworks done, they're gonna get 2 treats. And it's amazing, but by the end of the year, I get them starting to save. They can buy or save. And by the end of the year, most of them are saving. And then they get, at the end, like 6 treats because they have 6 weeks worth of Pentium saved in their cup. And it's a skill, right? The joy of not immediate gratification, but there is immediate gratification if they need that, it's coming every single week. But then they can learn maybe to hold on. And that's seeing them mature, right? So that's super exciting to see them do that. I think I've covered everything. And so if you don't have any questions, let me make sure I went through this. Actually, we'll see them. We start on the 21st. So are there any other questions or thoughts? So if you want to just hand in your sheets, then I will take them and yeah, you can throw those away. I'll take it. Oh, thank you so much.
Sure do. She's open.
Yeah, actually, is there not one for Adele here? Oh, it's right here somewhere. Louis. No, Adele is coming in.